You can't say I would like to be developed like this guy. Then you are doing something completely different from what those guys were doing and what they are doing now. So that's the detail here.
So are you also going to give us an example or just let us send it?
Like the what?
For us who started things, like who started things.
I don't know, like because the assumption were like that the you mean which exams are you about?
The mid semester. Remember we started
In terms of the mid semester, I don't know, but I know that I was requested to set up a delayed paper. Some people are going to write delayed exams. I don't know who. So they are going to be the one to determine whether it's work group or not, but they have to, I mean, it depends on, because we are assuming that if you are having exams, then you have covered things up to the period of exams. So if they say you should sit for exams, you should say, okay, how many things have you covered? Because I might include everything in it. The ones that I think the question are like more like assuming that what we have covered. So they might be, I don't know, but I think the best way is if you get that, because I don't know which group is going to write it.
Of course, the J they posted only group. They posted deferred students.
Okay.
It was actually not deferred students, they were just there, but our names were also there for exams.
But I mean, you need to ask them, I mean, to talk to them first. Because what I'm saying, I don't know, they didn't say this, unfortunately, they were supposed to say this, okay, these are examples of this coming group. So I will have known, because I know what I've taught so far with it, which means I cannot go beyond that. Right? So the ones that I said, I mean, it was more like general nature. I'm not so sure that they're not that difficult. I mean, but still, maybe you have confirmation to ask. Depending, since you are just new, I mean, I don't know how far you have covered. So when you say you have an exam, so is it going to be special exams or because it might be defined for people who have studied from the beginning? Those people are going to be like more or less like they have been covering all the topics. Yeah. So there should be clarity there. Because let's say I should say something for you special. It means I know how many things I've taught. It will be specific for you. But if I say, because the meaning of exams is to test your knowledge on what you have learned. Now, if I can say that there are questions that you have never learned, so it cannot be fair for you. Yeah, so for learning, maybe they're going to say. And it's better to ask them now. Because if you say that, if you don't, you discover, the exams are already set for you. So somehow, it can be a problem. Welcome, Mira. How are you? That's fine. Just fine. You know that was me. It's a new experience.
Yeah, we are
You know each other?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that you don't. Alright. Oh, in other classes. Oh, it's not in the class, eh? Okay. Right. What I want to do is I expected something to appear there. We not to make anything. Right. that time, what happens is like we have two groups on the WhatsApp. So what at first I thought that everybody is on each group. Until I discovered there were some people, students who are not on that, as one of the groups said. So I was trying to add. It was one of these days we had a little bit phone session. So some of the students were not there. I mean, I sent this document on the group, but it's this kind of table. That one I believe is this first one. So I said one or two things on this, and I can just say something quickly, then I will pause a little bit on the board because there was something that I didn't include with that. But this is just general because we were talking about writing for people who are dealing with print, right? So I want to say that maybe in relation to that assignment, okay, you've been asked to say, write something else, interview somebody or people, and come up with a story. So it's just a matter of, okay, you as a journalist, you show that you went to journalism school. You should not just be guessing, right? You should know exactly how you're going to approach it, which is an important thing. Say, okay, where am I going to start, right? So I'll just go quick in some of these things. I'm not going to take much time because they are not like specific from what I want to do. But in the document, you discover that it started with just to make sure that we are in tune with the news we are going to be writing. So we talked about the categories, the major categories of news there. And that's more like the starting point. That okay, I have to write a news story article. I've got the information. Okay. With this information that I have, if I talk about news, major categories, which category is this information I have fall into? Is it going to fall into the hard news category, or is it going to go into the soft news category? Because once you establish that at the beginning, it will help you from how you are going to go about it. Why is it important? When we talk about hard news, usually if you take your newspaper, a new newspaper that we have in daily news, the first page stories that we see, those are hard news stories. Right? Most of the news bulletins, the ones that are like the headline, the main headline at the top, the hard news stories. Right? And these hard news stories are the news stories that have big impact at the society as a whole and need to be reported urgently, right? And usually they are factual stories with data concerning events that are potentially available to analyze, for analysis. So the news stories that are going to have big impact on the society, and you read it, you look at them and say, no. They are going to have a big impact. One, two, they need to be reported agents. Why, when you say reported agents, what are you talking about? It means if you don't report that story right now, if you take a little bit longer, it might go stale. I don't believe you know stale when you say. There's other stories that if you don't tell them today, by tomorrow, it's going to be another story, news there. There's going to be new developments, right? For example, if you say something like maybe like what we hear from Nigeria, when you say, okay, students, hundreds of students have been abducted, right? We are not so sure, maybe students have been abducted by a specific group. So maybe you're not so sure about the composition of the people that have been abducted. Now, if you don't report that in the news right now, if you take a little bit, maybe from 1 day, after 1 day, you might discover that maybe they were abducted, maybe they have been released after maybe 2 hours, or maybe after a day, or maybe they said so there might be a certain new development which might come up in a shortish space, right? So if you have those type of stories, remember, you know that you don't have to wait. First of all, you are looking at the impact of that how many people are going to be affected by this. It's going to be more people. And also the third agency. So those are usually kind of stories. So most of the time, what hard news stories, the group will say most important things that are affecting the society. The way hard news stories are written are different with what are called soft news stories. Right? Hard news stories, people concentrate. I mean, they want to hear the content, the watch, right? What has happened? They don't want to appreciate your style of writing to say, this is a good writing, right? They don't. No wonder you see part of the story, you see, they will just go straight in the inverted pyramid. We talked about, the inverted pyramid, whereby you just go to the main important issue without so many additives, right? Without trying to look creative in your writing. Yeah? So that it takes for having the story, and on the opposite side of the stories, whereby now those type of stories that people will read, they are more relaxed. There's a relaxed approach. Yeah? People could say that maybe they are busy now, they don't have anything to do. Then they'll go to look. Examples of short news stories is just think about magazines. Most of the stories that you find in the magazines. No wonder you can go to the hospital, you go somewhere else, you find a magazine from maybe 2010. You can still read it, 2010, but you can't find a newspaper of 2010 on the table at the hospital. They know that it's too old, right? So this is one of the first things you think about. Let's just talk about soft news here, stories that provide other background information about what we get. Human interest stories for entertainment news, think about sports. So when you say they provide background and more information, because when you hear about hard news like on radio, TV, you discover that they are very short. You don't take 1 minute to do. If you listen to BBC stories, there. Most of them will just be maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds, they are done. They will just give you the point, no more details. But when you go to the newspaper and find that an analysis, or maybe a feature, it will take maybe 2 pages, 1 page. You have more detail, but those are not hard news stories. So that's the first thing you can think about. And normally, the hard news story, they are going to follow the evidence and we are talking about. The soft news story, they might not follow the evidence pyramid. Because you can start by reading about the push. An example, check sports news. If you read sports news, first paragraph might be talking about reading about the push. Second paragraph, reading about the push. Maybe third paragraph, talking about the new story, right? The new issue. Go front page. The first paragraph, if you talk about what has happened, then this paragraph will go on. So that's maybe one of the first things that you can look at. And also there's that element of editorializing, you put in your opinion. In soft news, you can find that element of editorializing, the writing. And then, this is just I just wanted us to just get acquainted with one of the top main types of a newspaper. Then you have the news, you have this broadsheet, then you have this tabloid. I know there was another one which it was called the liner, but that was not that popular. It was the broadsheet. There are lots of large newspapers, right? In Malawi, what we have in Malawi, they are more or less like the tabloids, right? The one we have. How do you know these are the tabloids? The broadsheets, they might be maybe 3 times or 4 times the ones that we have in Malawi. You never can use broadsheets, yeah? many years ago, in Polish, they would say, the flight, the one that you're going to have is the one we have in France. So, how do you calculate? You have a magazine, which is A4. At the top of magazine, we even have Polish. Magazine, you don't have to Polish. Polish, you don't have I don't know if we are saying this but it was popular a long time ago. But now, about let me just say about the one that the tabloids, you are going to have at the top, the Polish. So, just to appreciate that the newspapers that are going to be doing. So, even if the content is a little bit different, now I know in my because of the economy, we use tabloids as an ordinary newspaper. Because in America, in Britain, when they were using tabloids, they were using tabloids for a type of journalism that was called yellow journalism. Yellow journalism, I think you know about World War I, World War II. Yeah, after World War II, I think around 1960 something, see, before, during the World War, all my media institutions, and I can't get that on. That's it. World War II. So people were tuning in to radio, newspaper, people doing it. You see? So it was like there was too much information about the war. So after the war, the New Times, they have heard a lot about war. And they didn't want people to be hearing about war again, right? So another type of journalism, meaning they wanted like more like a refresh type. Another one that the Wicked Times. I'm a celebrity, something like that. So that type of journalism is enough to understand because it was completely different from what people were doing. Now they started losing about my gossip, my scandals, all the like what it was called sensational type of journalism reporting there. Whereby, for example, there's this, the person of organization of people. You don't want to do I think you know better what I'm talking about magazines there. Exactly the magazines. You see magazines, they still know by looking at my scandals on celebrity. I don't know the Beyonce, that was the money, look at the number that is not also based on speculation there. Or because of God, I don't know you said I'm going to do it. So there was that type of journalism. So that time, they were using Matama, starting with one and using small, right? But afterwards, they started using the broadsheets, which are a little bit bigger. But in Malawi, we started using Matama. I think at first it was bigger. But now, because of money, so about the first step, we settled with the tablets. Kind of my main newspaper, but normally, you are not supposed to settle. Okay, so if you talk about those articles, the newspaper we are going to write into, there are going to be different types of articles that are going to be found inside the news, right? Let's see here. I think here also news articles are objective to the post. So this one, like here, I think this one will be. Let me put it. Maybe to be specific. The first one will typically be straight. What is it? But typically, I think the one that at the beginning talk about what is some they say normal news. They can be called normal news or straight news. Right? Sometimes they say straightforward news or straight news. What they're talking about is the heady news, right? The one we're talking about, not the front page, right? Whereby you just report about what has happened without any additives, without trying to be creative. It's just an ordinary report. So you have like news stories that are going to be, sometimes in a newspaper they will say national news, sometimes it was on the national desk, my newsroom. It's where they don't have busy news articles or which more or less like straight. So these are just going to be objective reports on current events, but usually they report it as the way they are, without anything, and then you're going to have feature articles. I'm going to talk about that. You already know that you're going to have a mixture of hard news and soft news. Right? So these type of news articles or types of articles, sometimes just types of articles, might fall on the hard news or on hard or soft news. It's going to be this article. Because some will just be maybe some other articles. But if you talk about feature articles, the best way would be the weekend papers, where you're going to find a lot of feature articles, right? And the difference between like ordinary news, where the first one that says discrete news or ordinary news, normal news, usually they're going to be shorter. When it comes to a feature, features are longer, and they still talk about it, longer and providing in-depth information on a particular subject, right? So you have maybe a write-up in a newspaper that will concentrate on one subject, but you talk about a lot of things. You can have it in 1 page or 2 pages, and the feature articles they do for into soft news. Yeah, because you can have a feature article whereby someone is even putting in an opinion. It's like you are analyzing something, right? So that will be part of the feature. But the same of the feature usually it's longer, it's in-depth, right now. It might be written by one, it could be written by 2 people, it could be a permanent forum, because forums are also part of features. You have forums, you have profiles, also features. So you also have in the newspaper, you also have editorials. These editorials, a comment, which is if you have a newspaper, where this is only like Malaya newspaper, you have page 2, they will write a comment somewhere on the page 2. Usually that's a comment, and it's an editorial which is representing the views of the newspaper, right? The one that you have on the second page. Just take one with Daily Times, Nation, and you see the front page or the second page inside. You see somewhere the right comments. They are not going to be biased. They are not going to write who wrote the comment. They will just write. They will put maybe the name of the newspaper, and usually they are in bold. They are different. The font style is different. What will be the same, but the font will be made in bold because they are trying to differentiate opinions and the ordinary news. And that's what we are thinking in our mind. That okay, we are going to, if you have an opinion, the way they are placed in the newspaper, they are placed in the sense that they should not be confused with an ordinary news. So either they're going to be put in a box, or they're going to be put in a board, or they are going to put a disclaimer. You can see in the newspaper, at a certain article, at the bottom they write the views of the in this story, maybe it's not of the newspaper, it's of the author, right? If they say something like that, that is an editorial. It's an opinion page. So editorials, they are going to be editorial or newspaper as my editors, which is a little bit smaller, and there are going to be editorials that are going to be inside, which are going to be like forums. We have personal forums. You have a write-up, there's a picture of someone with a name. And the difference, how do you know about the Because when you have come to have the news, you don't put a title. That doesn't make sense. A title when you have the news should make sense completely. People should read the title. It could be short, it could be a little bit longer, but when they read the story, it should reflect directly. You don't do like it, because the feature, it's like you're writing a novel, okay? You will put a headline that's completely different. A headline which is a different meaning, is a type of film, okay? When you read one of that, so you have exactly what they get to mean, if you say, maybe a train to Babylon, and you know who Babylon is, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to that's why it's only the train to Babylon. There's nothing to talk about Babylon, that's a feature. You got to people have to imply, stories there's a lot of to imply. And no more than a story, if they can headline is the people should know, what would you you can wait, you can't attend to somebody. The only difference would be, as I'm saying, that's what I want to see when we want to talk about headlines. Most of the time, I emphasize to say, I want you to say 5-page story. So I want you to say, okay, you can say 5-page story and it should be a lead story. Usually, you use certain techniques to attract audience. So 5 page of the newspaper is the one that is going to sell the newspaper. So what they do, they try to put some other things that will attract somebody to read it. So one of the tricks, one of the gateway, the main one, is headline. After the thing about that is that first of all, you can list one being carbonic. Number two, you can list one being. There would be people are not going to see it from afar. Then they will prefer what you can food and you can vote and you can food 1 million. Which means if it's going to be able to be people board, you got to put a sentence. For example, like when you have the 5, my point is the 5, you will not have, if it's a sentence, you want to make it. That's why you usually have a phrase, but it should be direct, and then you have supporting headlines, what is called a news text, but headlines of the news. Just to try to do it. So, okay, so I'll just write through. You're going to have news articles like the news, and you're going to have features, then you're going to have editorials, which include commentary, or my comment, or even my Madana, people's opinion, when you do the editor, those are also editorials. Then you're going to have advertisements in the same way, like some will be advertisements where they're trying to write them as a news, which is a paid. It's a write-up, but it's a paid. Promotional articles, you will have, because a normal newspaper is not supposed to be paid. You got somebody that's going to pay you, and they say, oh, you need to represent in hand, and you know, maybe that's not a normal story. That's now a fake or something. So you are also going to have promotional articles. Articles usually whereby they are promoting something. They are specifically trying to say, like they talk about encouraging readers maybe to join a certain course or maybe participate in something else. And then you're also going to have what are called reviews, right? Reviews, they are more of editorial because they might have, somebody will have released an album or a song, right? So they will be writing with a film. So they are more or less like pictures there. But they analyze a piece of work, a piece of art, a piece of writer, maybe a book, right? Whoever the author is, and then his or her own opinion. Chabu, the first song was talking about this, but the way it started not about it. So it's something that you also going to find in the newspaper. Then the columns, I talked about the columns already. So columns, they are more or less like features and they fall under editorials. But these columns, usually they are permanent places. You find them at page 4 or column. Then in the column, sometimes they will put the name of the person who is writing the article. Sometimes they don't put. They put what I call pseudonyms. somebody to know who writes this article, with this one, right? Government something like this, what is called like a fake name, right? If you want to know that, get the newspapers and go through. You see, you find some other forums whereby they will put the name in like it's not a real name. I'm not talking about if you don't know the place, what I'm like or what I'm like in the week. Check the border. So you're going to have such kind of write-ups in the paper. Also, there's what I call how-to articles, meaning whereby they are explaining how you can do this. These are common in YouTube nowadays. Just say how to put it. You do not know the video there. And there's also what I call OPEDs. These are articles, as I say, there is an editorial page. Opposite the editorial page of the newspaper, there's an article. An article that is on the opposite side of the newspaper, on the editorial, is called OPEDs. And usually it's not written by the editors. I mean, usually somebody who is not part of the editorial team. Right, this is just a broader breakdown. We say, in broader terms, you have local news, you have national news, you have international news. That's how you are going to treat against in the newspaper, whereby anywhere even politics, when they want to have headlines, even when they like to have a bulletin, local news, national news, you must fixed, right? Then international news. You don't find international news where we are, or anywhere else you go, even if I local. When they say local, it's like it's my story that people who are near one meeting where people are. The national level is the whole country, right? And then the international level is more other countries. And so you find that that breaks down again as in general on that. So quickly, you're going to the story now. You have your information, you have determined whether the story you are going to write is going to be soft news or hard news. In our case, we are writing hard news, right? We want to write a story that's going to be on the front page of the newspaper. So the first thing that we need to keep in our mind is stories that are going to be seen on the front page of the newspaper. They have to be four main parts, right? They're supposed to have a headline. They're supposed to have what is called a beginning, which is the lead. They're supposed to have the middle, which is the body. Then they're supposed to have the ending. So it means when you're writing, you don't just write anyhow, right? If it's called this is now, I'm talking about stressing for the print. Even in the broadcast, also it follows the same pattern, but usually in print is much more clear. Because we say it, in broadcast we hear headline news and then have the story more in the summer. But now you are going to have the headline, then you're going to have the beginning, then the lead, then the body, then the ending. Right. So this is just a broader breakdown of it. You say that there's the lead. This is what is called an anagraph. Where it's an anagraph, it fits in a picture story. In the sense that, as I say, in an ordinary news story, which is a normal news story, you start by the inverted pyramid, right? It means in your lead, you are going to be addressing the fact that views and the H in your lead, right? You are going to start with the what has happened, then where, then go before. While when you're writing a picture, you don't start by with the lead with the fact of the H. No. In a picture, you can start by have you ever wondered that job? Second page, second page, then now, because you are just rambling, you are setting up in a picture, there is something you want to talk about in your article. So there should be a sentence which will now give the audience the focus of what you want to talk about. That is one sentence that is going to now direct the readers to say this is what you want to talk about. It's another graph. That's what it's. So it's not really like a lead, but the it's going to usually be found in my picture. If you have read novels, I believe that you have read novels. I don't know if some of you have read novels. But most of the ladies, in the past, they used to be reading a lot of novels. I don't know nowadays what is happening. Do you just watch and you read a lot? Do you read novels? What do you watch a lot of maybe the series? Okay. Even if you watch series, most of these novels, they are adapted from the novels. The way they set up the series is similar, some of these series, whereby you discover that they will not start by talking about the main issue at the beginning. They will give you they will just give you a substance. You don't know what can you do. After 10 minutes or 20 minutes, when you see the actual story starting. Sometimes they give narrative. We have seen something at the beginning, then they'll say, I'm a the story now. A point where it's going to start, that's what happens in the future, whereby it's just like a focus station. So that's nice. Now, in our sense, in normal my story, we're not going to do that because a lead will cover everything. And then we're going to have maybe a lead promoting a number of paragraphs which are going to be giving out information. And there's a reason, because if the story is a little bit longer, you might have maybe 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs, because you don't want to have one paragraph that is too long. You're not supposed to have something like that. So what you do, you have maybe, if you have 3 paragraphs, it's the same story, but you make sure that each paragraph should address one item, right? And I know your guide is the 5 degrees at each. So in the lead, I've addressed the who, maybe the what, and the where, right? You will be seeing the how, the why. So when you are writing your paragraphs, well, that's another stage. When people say you want to write a story, some of the problem, okay, I'm writing the body, but you don't know what the paragraph is happening. What's the other? You don't have to write it, just stop where you want it. So you're talking about the same issue. You're going to say from here, one angle, then we will have the other part. Because the best way to do it, you're talking about the same issue. You want to talk about one angle, you are addressing in one paragraph, right? When you are coming to the next paragraph, should be now, maybe the same issue, another aspect, right? If there are most aspects, you're going to be adding more paragraphs. But if the aspects are too many, it's where now you are going to think about how can you talk about the same story in a quicker way, shorter way, right? You know, you run away from, you can't get away by a lot of paragraphs. Where story, if you wrote a lot of paragraphs, you become boring. So you have there, you have additional information at the end. Then thinking about this thing, I think I talked about it already. When I was talking about, we had a little bit discussion on the phone. So say one of the tricks of the headline is just to go quickly. You make it. You can think about how to make it dramatic, because you are trying to grab the attention of the people, right? So you make it dramatic by the way, maybe the weight you're going to use, right? You can play around with weight. It's not because they're not going to be the weights that are not going to be making sense, right? There should be weights that when somebody reads the weight and they read the story, it should be matching up, right? They should also make sense. But you can see how you are living. You say, okay, how can I use this way? And the key thing is, it's better to have the fewer ways as possible in the headline. You don't have to think about sentences. You think in phrases, that it should be a phrase, right? If there should be 2 ways or 3 ways, you don't have to have maybe 5, 6 ways. Somehow you even have a problem on the passage. So you can use a dramatic or emotional ways such as I talk about here, crisis, drama, clash, fury, but those are dramatic. When you say crisis, you know age, and you already know when you say the crisis, what it means. You say, there was drama, or no drama at the university. You already people know, people see, this drama, they know what drama means. So those are the kind of headlines that will capture the attention of people. Because you want to know, okay, think you put the drama in the drama. Because you don't want to have my story, my headline that the act too straight and the only. When you have an act too straight, what kind of thing is no element, dramatic element, it's in the middle of the picture. No one that you go, you find yourself when you're getting the news there. Most of the time, my people don't understand the news. You don't read it. You will only affected to who is possible. There's a reason why. Go and check most of the other examples. Who is the one that have picture articles? I don't want to can set it to who is there. Komacha equal. Mina, there is a women at the Mulaj. They are advocating. I will bring the Mulaj in the hospital advocating for clean water. That's two simple. It's a little bit headline. It's like you will say, okay, I think what do you expect to be like the show? You may think I don't shoot, but I'm more angles. You don't need to expect them. But when they say crisis at the Mulaj hospital, who knows what the crisis is? Which means it is already dramatic, and true it is like already leave you in a cycle, and you want to know more. So that's the truth. When you're cutting up headlines, just think about a way of which ways can I use. And you don't need to just write for the sake of writing there. Write in the sense of put yourself in the shoes of the reader. In fact, I remind them that ye front page. Can I be interested to read it? If I want to buy, can I buy it because of the headline like this? If it's too cold, you're going to know something is not okay. Try to change it. Make sure that you should be interesting. So there's an element of emotional ways, dramatic words, and alliteration is talking about what is using in poetry. You play around with words, the rhymes or half rhymes, whereby you are rhyming, but as I'm saying, you are writing something that makes sense, right? Not writing something that was specifically used. So that's the trick. You make sure that the headline should not be boring, the headline should be interesting, should be something that maybe read, crisis at the review. So all those types of things, and try to think of headlines to make the readers want to read the story. So that's what I'm talking about. What else? And yes, there's also, you think about using the direct speech, whereby you use, but this is another technique. Direct speech is like you have a headline that you use a quotation. Maybe you've seen that before. If you know how to have a quotation about it, I say something like this. Maybe Muruzi is a thief. But you see the quotation, meaning that's a way to somebody has said it. When you know that statement will make people want to read the story. So instead of people who say this, people what can do? Who got a quotation, who got they put the quote as headline. So that's another way. And you know what the aim is, you want to put a headline that will attract audience's attention. Whatever you write, however you want to write the story, even if you have done a good job in writing a story, if the headline is poor, you have done nothing. Because people will not read it. So you want to make sure that you should attract the people first before you can story. Right? So you use a quotation in direct speech, or if the quotation could even be in direct speech. Right?
all the direct speech. You can even use the quotation. What somebody says, but we put it in direct, right? Then this is the obvious thing that I'm talking about. That you're going to be, attempting to answer these, but this is now going to be after headline, go after the headline. Then now when you're going to be going into the link, you're going to be answering the fact that views and the age. I know this one, like the what, the who, the when, and the where. These are the most questions that are going to be asked. Okay, so let me just jump here and go. These are just some of the things I talked about today. Just quickly, steps in writing the headline. Some of the steps. If you want to write a good headline, don't write a headline if you have never understood the story, right? The whole story. You need to make sure that you have immersed yourself in the story. You understood it clear. Because the headline, the guidance that you're going to put maybe 2 words or 1 word will represent everything that is being talked about, right? So the words that you're going to use should fit. I'm saying that we have even encountered this scenario for ourselves, whereby we read a story and you can have headline, some story, so we see another headline. We have seen such a story. Why? You might not know it yet. And I know it's most of this. If I can, I see people have it in my music, right? If I come with the way the reporter or the story, your story was about the things that the headline is the things that the story. The story is going to give you the editor. So some of the editors will tell him to look at the story, he can't give the consistency, right? So I'm going to motivation. So sometimes editors have to see headline without thinking much about the story. Who is going to create headline moving forward? Come now, if you really is not clear, I'm not going to make a headline, meaning a headline, they will see this and see what was being talked about, which is not supposed to be the case. So, that's why it's important to understand the whole story, then you come up with the headline. Also, you make sure that when you write the headline, don't just say to what you are doing. No. Write it and look at it. Try to think about either subtracting weight or maybe adding weight. It might be or maybe waiting a little bit. So when you do that, it can help you have a good headline there. And also I say that the good headlines are going to be those that appears to summarize the whole story. I'm saying Christ is actually real. Then when you summarize everything, you say Christ. Then when you Christ is making sense. Because it's summarizing everything. So you can have those types of things. When you understand the story, when the story is, when you can be able to summarize whatever is happening, right? So one way that's quite the key, because you're not supposed to have so many ways. A minimum, at least maybe 3 ways, 4 ways. Even 2 ways there, because they're going to be huge, large ways. I know when you know that this is not going to be the main act, the real story, you can put a little bit more ways. But as long as it's the real story, if you want to have a real story, you should have very few words, a phrase. And also, there's that element of striving to use the present tense, although it's much more prominent in broadcast news. In print, sometimes they don't do, but in headlines, it's better to make it sound appear more using a present tense. Because they want to read the news, they expect to read this some kind of second part. So it should not show that you come to second time. Right? So you avoid past tense when you write your headline. And also on the headline, things are right, I didn't write it there, I don't know what it is. You avoid articles. I believe you know articles, but articles in normal is a grammar. What else? Right, all my articles are made that like this, you don't use any article in a headline. Meaning that one is the chapter.
just remove the article. If let's interpret remove from the article, it will come a good headline. And two, don't use articles and don't end with the preposition. Chapter 4. No. All the prepositions should be, if you are ending with the preposition, make sure that it should be changed. You should not end with the preposition, you should not use any article, any headline. What else? Then you go to the lead. The lead, I remember I said that document, Yama type of leads. I think everyone has seen it. I don't know if you have access to it. Have you? Have you gone through it? The lead. LELD. You know what the lead is, right? But you remember that when we say a lead, we are talking about that first paragraph of the story, isn't it? That is going to be usually. I mean, the leads are important. Why I'm asking about the lead is over this time I'm giving you a situation that is whatever information of the story, right? So you should be sure so when you say having this story, don't you already know the direction, right? Who is going to be about the which one? Who is to now? First paragraph, who is much? It's now when you know what type of things are. Because when you know what type of things, for example, the most common type of lead, immediately having the stories. It's summary. I talked about when you say summary, the name is itself. You attempt to answer the fact that you use an H in the lead. But you don't answer all, but at least you answer as many. For example, you have made a good example of the broadcast. Because the difference between print news stories, the broadcast. Broadcast is news because you don't keep trying for having a lead, a board, a channel. After headline, next thing after the list is a summary. While in the newspaper, in Medicine of the Saturday, so if you say, okay, I'm going to use the summary date, then you know what you're going to do. You are going to attempt to summarize the story in the first paragraph. That's it. So there are some other types of leads. The man says that if you go through that document, you discover that most leads that are in that document will not fit the heading of the story. Because most of them are more creative type of leads, which will fit more in feature stories or editorials. For example, if you talk about the anecdote lead, whereby you start by just using phrases or words. You start by dramatic, fantastic, just with all these words are describing something. Then last sentence, then you talk about that was maybe something there. So that is a style. It's a very creative style. People do not expect it in having a story. We are by that way. There is a question lead, right? A question lead is only where you start with the question at the beginning. So a question lead is good, but now a serious story. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about in this email. I started by headline here, the lead. Okay, last time I talked about it already. But now I'll say here, there's the lead there. You see, you have the summary lead, the anecdotal lead, you have got the short sentence lead, and the good thing about it, all this type of lead, that they tell you what they are, who's the name of it, you know, you might guess. For example, let's say a short sentence lead. You think about it, a short sentence, meaning you're not going to be using long class sentences. It's going to be like a very short sentence, like the punches. You choose a certain way you usually say punch, okay? And you can even start in a about the key. But in a study whereby you start by address one item. See by 5 degrees and age. But you don't address the what. For example, if there is a story, you may know
the much more important to make person be the one she will be that is what has happened. They will just address the what as a lead, right? And the body is talking about the who, the when. So you have that type of thing. So for you, based on the story that you have to make a judgment. According to the story, I think somebody will work, right? According to this one, there's another type of thing like this one, whereby it says email is like what you do. I think the immediate identification. I don't know. The immediate identification. The immediate identification meaning the story is talking that it's involving somebody. That is person who is involved in the story. You mentioned him in the leads, right? Why do you mention that person in the lead? Because they will know what's in it. Because they use the story, it's like headline. If you mention the name of somebody in a headline, and then you start to make people will be asking questions. For example, James T. killed. First thing that I is who James T. They don't know James T. right? But if you put a name down on the way, they will know. Oh, it makes sense because they know the person. But if you don't put the start to make in your headline, you can't put the name. What are you going to put? Who over there? What do you mean that a man is a 5-year-old man? It is something like that. In that inside the story is very moving to another story. But now, if you have got a lead, if the person is maybe the story involves someone who is known, and you know that they are interested in that person, you identify the person. And sometimes the name of the person outweighs what has happened. If you remember, that is one of the ways of news values. Prominence. Prominence is one of the news values. Meaning, a story can say, justify me, put someone else to be there. So, when you forget that he is interesting because he will have a dominant voice to be there. Just to go to just assure, who have a sensitive justice, everybody will say. If you know, if you weigh what has happened, and a person, and see if this thing has, if we had anything that has become something weird, will it be interesting? And if you see that, no, in a person that we won't go through, you have been nothing. Therefore, when you are having a lead, you make sure that you mention the person, right? That's what immediate identification. But now, if you have one person later, and you know the two persons human being is the action that has happened. Right? So in the lead, you are going to mention the action, you are not going to identify the person, right? Something, you identify the person, maybe in Mama Father, saying that, so that's a type of lead that you use. But if you have to make judgment, because I'm saying that in news writing, you don't have a standard, you fall apart. But when you have information, you have to understand the information you have first, then you make judgment. Look, I want to give the information. They use this type of lead. But when it comes to more soft news, because other soft news would be when it comes to sports story. Sports stories are soft news. So most of these leads that are here, they can be used in sports stories. Most of them. Those stories, sports news, sometimes we try to, the writers try to be as creative as possible. Right? They want to write the story, they don't want to let them find a way to find it. They don't want to take much of the no one is going to listen to podcast the commentators of the story, check what they talk about. They'll be talking about you can't have that kind of way for friends. It's what we do if somebody will win, I don't know what is that. So that said, one popular guy, that's not the context. Even that's what those who are, I don't think I know, and you need to tell them. What if you say, somebody, I know that this person has dismantled
This one has written this one, but